Hi, I'm Carice. Welcome to Scofield Farm, and I'm going to take you on an end of April garden tour. It's actually April 30th. Won't get this up till May, but I want to show you how things are changing because things look very different than even a couple weeks ago. I'm going to start by showing you my starts. We're going to look in the veggie garden. We're going to look in the pollinator garden, the herb garden, some of the flowers out front. It's going to be great. We live in Northern California, Zone 9B, where we actually garden year-round. I always say that, but it is a special thing to this area. Our climate makes it so we can grow food all year. Here are a lot of my garden starts that I still need to get in the ground. We've had great temps. I just haven't had a chance to do it. We actually had our last frost like somewhere in the middle of February, but you know, temps weren't like in the 50s in the lows before then. Now it's been really nice nights. A lot of people that I sold my extra starts to locally have already planted them out. We just are building 2 new garden beds. We've had a lot going on our homestead. We have a little homestead here in Northern California. It's like 3.5 acres. We keep bees, we have chickens. We're like halfway through, probably like 80% through a new chicken coop, but it's still not done, and we started last summer. You know how it is. When you homestead, there's projects galore, and sometimes one project gets interrupted for another, and so it just takes a little bit of time. This is my in-ground Meyer lemon tree. We actually planted this thing right after closing on our house almost 5 years ago, the week of my birthday. I think tomorrow or the next day is the anniversary of closing on our house. So that's fun. It's full of blossoms. We just gave it more blood meal to green it up a little bit more. This thing always gets a little bit yellow in the winter, but look at all of those blooms. Oh my goodness. We're gonna have a lot of lemons, I think, this year. Behind there, we have a chocolate mint pot. Because mint is invasive, we keep it in a pot, and I love that for tea especially. Over here, we have lavender that we planted ourselves 5 years ago, and it is very huge. I would love to cut it back again, but it is full of blossoms right now. So we'll wait a little bit to harvest some of those blossoms to let the bees enjoy them before we cut it back. Lilacs have finished blooming. Taking you back to my mandarin grove, and all of the trees did well through the winter except for one. We will need to replace it. They are starting to bloom, which is just lovely. These took longer for me to establish than my citrus that are in pots. And some of these are only, let's see, I think this is our 2nd year having this on the property. So they're still pretty young. We've got a lot of them. Only one died, and that is really from damage a couple winters ago in the snow. It was too heavy. I had it covered and it just never quite bounced back. But this one back here is so beautiful, and it's so bush-like, and that's actually how I want all of these mandarins to end up, is to be very full and bush-like. Behind it, we have our pollinator garden. I started this in honor of my aunt who died a couple years ago in the summer, and these hollyhocks are going to be huge and amazing. They are actually taller than I am. Pretty crazy. I think that is a straw flower coming back, maybe? Looks like it. We have blueberries interspersed. Some of them are a little bit shaded by my flowers. This is a pretty sweet William, and I love it because my husband's name is William. That's kind of fun and special. Over here, blueberries, strawberries. We have pinks down here, and we have lavender. There are the pinks. Lavender that my sister gave me as a transplant from hers. I think that's Spanish lavender, and our other is French. This is guara. And we have rosemary that I started from 2 starts that I just broke off my sister's plant and put in water in my kitchen window. Strawberries I kind of did as like a ground cover all through this in a big butterfly bush that is just about to bloom. I love butterflies. Over here we have some of the prettiest snapdragons I have ever seen. I don't even know how to show you how pretty they are, because I don't know if their stunning color is really going to show up. It is so stunning. They are so beautiful. More hollyhocks. I have alyssum. Down here, I am a sucker for this royal carpet alyssum in my veggie garden, in my pollinator garden. I just love it everywhere. here on the north side of our house, we have 2 hydrangeas that look like they're going to actually bloom pretty nice this year. We did feed them this year, and they don't get a lot of sun. That is on purpose because we are such a hot climate in the summer. I have a very small blueberry bush. It is old enough that it really should be bigger. I wanted to transplant it. You can see little blueberries on it, but I'm gonna have to wait, I think, till it's dormant to do that. I have this little garden area tucked in here. That hollyhock is tiny in comparison, but we have this cute little sign I got from a friend of mine who's a beekeeper, sent me a bunch of fun stuff. We have a couple little blueberries and some different flowers that I planted in here. I'd like to add more flowers to this area specifically, just because it feels a little bare. Oh, more Royal Carpet Alyssum. We have 2 pomegranate trees. They're both wonderful pomegranate. Right here, over here, still our property, right near our neighbors though, and those are going to be so beautiful once they're full of blossoms and pomegranates. I kind of did them as an ornamental thing and an edible. And oh, you can see these snapdragons a lot better from this side. Look at how stunning they are. I really like them. I really like flowers, and I wanted flowers in the front of my yard so that other people could enjoy them besides me, like who go walking or drive by. And I also want them like in my backyard, different areas we sit, so that we can enjoy them too when we're outside. Our irises are done over in the front, so I'm not going to show you those. We do have some gladiolas about to come up. I'll probably show you on a future tour when they are blooming, but I want to show you my beautiful miniature rose bush. My husband got this for me like years ago, I think for a Valentine's Day gift from Trader Joe's. One of those little pots, and we potted it, and they're so beautiful. They actually look like David Austin roses, but miniature. I absolutely love this. I pruned it this year for the first time, and it seems very, very happy that I did so. Look at this. This looks like the peace roses. My dad had a peace rose outside our house when I was growing up, and so that's a special color for me. That thing is huge. We have a little tiny rose over here that is from my brother-in-law's mom's memorial service. I call it my Mary Rose. Very pretty little red roses. So it's also a miniature rose bush. I had a delivery guy step on it a couple years ago, and so that's why it's smaller, but it's going to get bigger. I know it will. I have a bunch of things I need to plant. Several willows my sister gave me that she propagated from her tree. This is a hibiscus that I meant to plant last year. I meant to plant it last year. It's all leafing out. I could just put it in a big pot, I think, and my bougainvillea. That is starting to leaf out, and I probably should put that in a pot as well. My sister pulled these up. They're a type of daisy. I can't remember what they're called, but they're not even in soil, and we really, really need to plant them. I want to put them under my weeping Santa Rosa plum trees. I just haven't had time yet. We have a lot of different propagated plants my sister gave me. Let's see, I think it's a crepe myrtle. We have a few more of the guara. This is a beautiful David Austin rose that she propagated from my grandma's rose bush. And more guara. Oh my. And over here, we bought a nectarine tree that we have not planted yet, and I've got to get that in the ground soon. Over here's my potted citrus. You guys know about this if you've watched past videos. My most popular videos are my citrus videos. They are all doing beautiful. It's about time for me to feed them again. I try to feed them about once a month during their peak growing time, you know, when they're growing, putting on new leaves, blossoms, fruit. This is so pretty. Oh my gosh, it smells so good too. The bees, their bees are loving it. I could see one right there. I don't know if I can get that for you guys, but my goodness, it smells so strong, and I can actually see little fruit starting to form on it. They're starting to form. I have this is my insurance policy for having citrus. I have one of every kind. So you saw my Meyer lemon in the ground. This is my Meyer lemon in a pot. It's much bigger, much fuller, and this one gave us I think it was over 60 Meyer lemons this last winter. This is my mandarin in a pot. I believe it's a clementine mandarin, and it's just starting to bloom. And this gave us 70 mandarins last year. Oh, And the soil that I used in this one had mustard seeds in it, and so it's got a nice little ground cover of mustard, and I just picked these for sandwiches. This is my tango, and tango is really yummy. We only got like one tango from it last year, but I can't wait to get more. And I think this is my grapefruit, and it's gonna definitely have to thin out because there's no way it's gonna hold this many grapefruit. Oh, and the bees are so happy and loving it. Yes. As a beekeeper, I'm always excited to see my bees on different plants. I love it. I keep bees so they can be pollinators on my property. This is a goji berry tree, bush, whatever my friend gave me when she moved. I think I need to pull it out into more sunshine, but it's come back very nice and full. I just need to get it more sun so it can grow some fruit. Over here, I have peonies just about to bloom and peonies that are finishing their bloom. They turn kind of that nice light white color, but they started very, very deep coral. I think they're actually called Coral Sunset. Oh, that one is just lovely. One of the gals that I sold starts to gave me a little volunteer fig tree, so I'm going to let that grow for a while in a pot. We have thyme, we have oregano in pots, we have, oh my goodness, I forgot to plant this. My azalea, it's been in here a year and it's probably root bound. I've got to get that in the ground. I saw a monarch butterfly in my garden last year for the first time, so I wanted to plant some milkweed, and so I have this pot right here that we put milkweed seeds in, and they're coming up. Now I know they can get pretty bushy, so I don't know if this will be enough room, but they are coming up, and I'm hoping that we can get a nice milkweed that we can have here all the time for monarch butterflies. This is another myrtle tree. There's a hollyhock, the first one I ever had that I put in a pot. And we have canna lily that needs to come up and bloom. More peonies. Our camellia are just finishing up. I always am in the wrong timing to prune them. I think it's like right after blooming. So I'm gonna have to do that, whoopsie, so that we have them in nice shape for next year. They just mostly have blossoms on the bottom left. I feel like I'm talking so fast because there's so much I want to show you, and I don't want to make this video way too long. I want to show you my herb garden, then I've got to show you my peaches because I told you guys a couple videos ago that we don't have peach leaf curl anymore. We have it again this year. Our little sprayer was not working very well. I wanted to get a new one. Then life happened, we didn't, and yeah, you can tell. Of course, I have purple carpet alyssum in my herb garden. I will plant ginger back there in that corner. We have some daisies. We have a lettuce head. We have, I believe that is parsley, and our coral bark Japanese maple. I have all sorts of things like, let's see, right here is lemon balm. We have some calendula. I believe that over there, oh, this is a Jamaican roselle hibiscus. I had a couple plants, I want to put one in here. We have cilantro and a lemon thyme. It's very pretty variegated leaves right there. And I don't remember what that is back there. Some other flower. I think there's a sweet William, but I can't remember what the other one is. I am excited to show you some of my fruit trees because of them leafing out and stuff. And I got to show you this persimmon. I believe we had it last year, and it's looking so much better this year than last year. It's leafing out so pretty, and it looks like there may be fruit on it this year, which would be so fun. I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. We were trying to support it. I think we need to do a little bit better at supporting it, but it does look better than it did last year. Still growing a tiny bit crooked. This is our one apricot tree that is actually alive, which is such a bummer. I asked you in a past video about my apricot tree. I'm pretty sure it's like a fire blight, which I thought only really affected pears and apples, but apparently it can affect apricots too. So hopefully this one steers clear. I want to show you some of our fruit trees. This is our one surviving apple tree. I think it was a gala apple, and we actually planted a elephant garlic underneath to maybe just kind of populate there. We have over here a tree that our neighbor gave us that died, so I'm not positive. I think it was an apple tree. Over here we have peach leaf curl. Why? We do have peaches though, but we have been trying to pick off these bubbly leaves and just get rid of them. But we have a couple different peach trees. We have this one, that came back from one they had cut down at the stump, and we nursed back a main stem, and then there's a couple side stems. Probably not smart, but it does produce peaches. And then we have this one, you can see the bag. We were trying to pick off the leaf curl, and it is packed with peaches, just packed. So we're trying to help the leaves to make this tree like really successful. But it is a beautiful peach tree. And this pear tree was here when we got the house. We didn't even know it was a pear tree until we saw a pear on it. It was struggling, so we've tried to nurse it back to health, and hopefully we get some pears on it this year. But I found out pears need 2 trees, and we have 1. So I wanted to plant another pear tree this year. That was my goal. Oh, and I have another apple. I forgot. This Honeycrisp apple is actually coming back. I thought it died, but it looks just fine. So I probably should prune the bottom. It's got some volunteer growth, but it looks healthy. This is another peach we have. I believe this is, what kind of peach was this? Maybe the Alberta peach, I think. And it's also got the curl. I'm trying to see if it has very much fruit, a little bit of fruit on this tree. So you live and learn. Next year, we will make sure we have a working sprayer. So we don't spray copper on ours. We've actually done a kelp emulsion, which did great when the sprayer worked. We'll have to fix that sprayer for sure. Here is my dying apricot tree. I think it might be fire blight. Even the leaves that were on it last video are now dried out and dead. So that is very sad, very disappointing. We had it for several years. Our grapevine is doing just amazing and beautiful. And hopefully the chickens and the birds share some grapes with us this year. But some years that they shared and some years they didn't. But it looks like it's got a lot of possibility. I was so excited to share the veggie garden with you because a lot is changing and we're like mid-planting. So I'm going to try to go through this fast, and it's going to look so different in May because, as I said, we're just mid-planting. Right down here we have our first tomatoes that we planted out for the season, and they are surrounded by onions, a huge sage that is just about to bloom. Oh, sage blossoms are so pretty. And all my chives are blooming very lovely right now. So we have tomatoes on one side of this. And then on the other side, let's see, on the end here, we tried to plant cucumbers and cucamelons. And I don't think any came up. I think my kids may have planted them too deep. So I'm going to have to replant those. That's okay. We still have a lot of time. But we have a lot of onions. And they're already doing a lot better than just the last couple days when I was out here. They look really good. We have different summer squash and zucchini that we planted on this side of the bed, and they are starting to come up all the way down. So this will be really fun. Very yummy bed. We also planted tomatoes on the north side of this bed that has onions, celery, a little bit of lettuce left, tons of chives. I'll probably have to cut them back a little bit. They always just take over. And I have some of our original sweet alyssum on the end of this bed, which I really want to prune better. It's getting kind of woody, but I just love the little white blossoms. Quite a few lettuce that are finishing up here. And we have, let's see, I haven't decided what to put on this side of the bed. I'm going to have to think about it, because maybe I'll put like basil and some of my flowers over here. And then we also tried to plant, let's see, pickling cucumbers here, but they're not coming up either. I don't know. I do not know. I really think some of my boys just planted them too deep, so I'll just have someone come out and help me in the next couple of days. We'll replant those couple areas. We have so much time. It's April 30th, so direct sowing, they'll still come up really soon. Even though I still never weeded my strawberry bed, I never fed it. I need to. We actually need more soil in it. It is doing really well. We have strawberries, like lots and lots and lots of strawberries. So many strawberries. We could even have ripe ones. I don't even know. I need to check this out a little better, but it's going to be packed. I really do want to feed it and maybe thin it. Oh, there's a lot to do in the garden all the time. The last couple years, we have grown a Jamaican roselle in this pot, and I've really liked that. It takes up the whole pot when it's ready, and we've got leeks in here. I do want to harvest more of them. I was going to put more tomatoes in here. I have a lot of lettuce that I'm letting go to seed to save seed in this bed. As you can see right here, I'm letting several of them go to seed. I believe this was a butter crunch lettuce. A couple of these were butter crunch lettuce, so I'll have plenty of seeds. Again, more chives. I am like addicted to the blooming chives. I love them. And more royal carpet alyssum, because I love that so much too. We're going to see chives all over my garden. I started with one chive plant that I split over and over again. And oh my goodness, this is like a perennial leek bed. They sow themselves, so I will always have leeks in this bed, always and forever. Hello, little bee. Hello. Hello. Down my walkway, besides seeing my Peter Pan shadow, you can see my California poppies that all volunteered. I love them so much. One very hard year after I had tried to grow poppies, like oriental poppies, red corn poppies, several different places on the property, unsuccessfully, I was just really struggling with some stuff, and I came in my garden and there were a couple California poppies, just like a couple blooms in a pathway, and I felt like it was just God's gift to me because I had so desired to grow poppies and failed over and over again, and it was a really hard season in life. And then he gifted me these poppies I didn't even plant, and I love them. I grew up thinking that you couldn't pick California poppies or you'd go to jail or something, part of living in California. So this is like a pleasure to me, and I let them grow in the pathway as long as I can kind of get by them because I enjoy them so much. We have a ton of garlic in this bed. We have chard, a couple chards. We have cabbage that I am really hoping makes a head and finishes up. No guarantees, but I would really love if it did. We like keep wondering, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Brassicas are hit or miss here with our weather. More, oh my gosh, more royal carpet alyssum. It is so pretty. I love when flowers trail out of the bed. And this soon will be full of beautiful cucumbers and melons growing is my plan. Some of the cucumbers are actually germinating right down there. You can see little ones starting. More alyssum. You can count on me for the alyssum. I love this bed. I'm gonna have peppers in this bed is what I plan on, but I was trying to give time for these cabbage to see if they decided to do anything or not. I'm so curious. I don't know if they're going to. These are nice big leaves, but no head. I direct sowed some flowers, and there is one that looks like maybe coming up, or maybe that's a radish, I don't know, but I need to water that a little bit more. I think this is one of my pepper plants that is coming back up, surprisingly. I had medium and sweet peppers in this bed. Now it's got just a little bit of garlic around the outside. It has lots of chives, beautiful, humongous snapdragons. They are beautiful, light yellow. They just kind of glow. And of course they cascade out of the bed. I might need to cut them back a little bit, but I really am enjoying them there. And I have all these strawberries in the path and a lettuce in the path. I kind of skipped this bed accidentally. I have tons of garlic in here and a couple beets that are finishing up over there. I want to put more tomatoes in here, maybe all my cherry tomatoes, and tons of blooming kale. Tons and tons. I will pull it. I don't want to wait for all this to go to seed. Maybe I'll leave like one, like maybe this one. I think it's the cyber frill kale that was new to me this year. I might leave that for seed, but the rest I'm going to pull so I can actually put my tomatoes in here, hopefully this week even. Oh, you have to see these snapdragons over here. These snapdragons are just amazing. They're like beautiful two-tone of pink and yellow. I really like them. They're really pretty. Over here where I have my peas, which, goodness, something is bothering my peas. It looks like something's digging in them. I planted, oh my gosh, my grand cherry's completely gone. Something completely stole it. Oh, I was gonna say I have my tomatillos and my ground cherry, but one of the tomatillos is also gone. I just have 3 tomatillos now and no ground cherry. And a lot of my peas seem to be missing too. How frustrating to come out here and see that something's been digging in this bed, the only bed we have without hardware cloth under it. And that's why we put hardware cloth under raised beds and don't do in-ground gardening. I've been fine for the most part with potatoes in this bed, and then I try to plant something else and something digs in and steals quite a few of my plants. So I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to talk to my husband and see what his thoughts are. He actually even has a trap for ground squirrels back there, but no ground squirrel in it. But something is clearly getting in here and eating my entire plants. Like, that ground cherry's gone, and it was a good size, and it's completely gone. This is where we have our asparagus, and I do need to harvest more. It's our first year of harvesting asparagus. We've had it for 3 springs, and those are getting tall and leggy. I need to harvest those. We have some random dill in here and some cilantro, you know, but it's mostly asparagus in these self-watering containers. Over here we have chard that I had in these pots. I think I'm going to change that. We decided to do our potatoes in grow bags this year for the first time, and I hope that they do okay. I mean, they look good so far. Right now I'm kind of worried about the thing digging in my garden. I'm going to have to really figure out what to do, but I think we need to actually put more alfalfa down in there. We were mulching them with alfalfa. I think we need to put more in there because they're getting pretty big. So exciting. I get to show you the new garden beds my husband's making. They look huge. They're not any bigger than the other ones, but they kind of look bigger. They look so big. Beautiful redwood that hopefully lasts a really long time is the hope. And they're on the other side of these arch trellis, so we can plant something on both sides of it to go over. That is the hope. That's the plan. And my parsley is going crazy and trying to bolt. I keep trying to make it not bolt, but it keeps trying. So I might have to cut it like way back, and then it might just be done. I don't know if I can get it, you know, I don't know what to do. I'll have to think about that too. All of these cabbages and cauliflower, well, this one's not bolting, but a lot of them are bolting. So I don't even know if I'll save the seeds from them or not. I just kind of let them do their thing, and then I will, you know, when I'm ready to plant this, then I will take them out and I'll plant what I'm going to plant here. I can't remember what I put down to plant here. I have it like on some notes. We have broccoli finishing up. This was solstice broccoli. I really liked it, but time ran away from me, and so they did start bolting as well. A big, beautiful strawberry blonde calendula. This can range anywhere from like a pink with little streaks to like a really soft yellow with pink streaks. And my loofah is over here, and we're trying to get it to start vining. That's one of the few things that we actually have planted out from our starts. And there's tons of volunteer calendula in here. Oh my goodness, like there's like hundreds of volunteers. I forgot to tell you over here that my echinacea is coming back, and it actually has a couple potential blooms already, so that will be really pretty. I love the look of those when they're blooming in the garden. And I also have shallots over here, and I'm really excited. I started them last year, forgot to harvest them, so this will actually be the first year I actually harvest them, and they're going to be so tasty. My husband's working on doing some more irrigation for our new bed, so he's been digging a lot over there, and that's why we've got the big hole. But it's going to be so good when it is ready. We'll have more power to some of our beds, and we'll have water to our new beds. Goodness, so much has already changed since my accidental garden tour a couple weeks ago. Everything is so lovely. I love sharing it with you, even in the midst of disappointment, of finding things being dug up. And I saw some of my young seedlings were eaten, I think, by slugs or pill bugs. So I'm gonna have to replant some of those out. But this is the nature of organic gardening. We don't use sprays. We don't do like chemicals. We don't even do the organic chemicals. So we're gonna have things happen. And I'm just gonna have to roll with it. I'm gonna figure out what to do. I'm really bummed about the grand cherry, but maybe my cousin has some. I'll have to ask her. I don't know if she decided to grow them this year or not. I'll have to figure out if I can track down another ground cherry start. But yeah, even with the disappointments and losses, the garden's still beautiful. It's still honestly thriving and has so much life and so much potential, and we're about to plant out so much more, so much more. It changes, it feels like literally every day it looks different. thanks for joining me while I showed you my garden, my different gardens. We'll have a May tour too, hopefully. As I keep saying, it's not the end of the month, but it might be. Still, I love to share it with you. Happy gardening. I hope that you're growing something beautiful.